Alright, gang. Alright, you guys just heard October Rage. Right before that, the new one from Threat Point, Devil You Know.
Devil You Know, yep.
What's the name of the new album?
The new album is Careful What You Wish For. It's killer. I mean, a lot of people think it's better than the first one. I love the first one, so I'm going to say they're both equally good. The new one's a little different. They've definitely matured. It's definitely heavier. So, yeah, I mean, like it's the album to get right now. I mean, if anybody's looking for some new metal, the Threat Point's new one, that's definitely the one to get.
Cool. So now, who do we got in the studio with us tonight, Ken?
We got Behind the Gray, winners of the first annual NEPA Steamtown Music Awards, Best Metal Act of the Year.
Best Metal Act. Yeah. So, well, let's start off with that. Was that a surprise? Were you guys expecting that?
No.
Not. No. Shock. Anybody who knows me in general, Ken can attest to it. I can pretty much talk to or about anything. And when they announced that we won, I was legitimately speechless for about 10 minutes after the award. I sat there. There's actually video online somewhere.
I got it.
We walked up, and I stood there with my hands in my pocket looking around, and everybody just kind of looked at each other and went like this.
Somehow, that just got diverted to me, and everyone just kind of shoved me forward for some type of acceptance speech. Like, I was prepared for this in some possible way. Jan and I were sitting next to each other when they were announcing it, and they said, "Oh, Behind the Grays," and Ken's like, "Behind the Grays are the winner," and Dan and I went, "Us? We did it?"
And walked up,
yeah, we did. Mike had to push us up. We didn't know we were actually
we didn't know to go.
That category was so stacked. Like, us and Cause of Affliction have been friends for such a long time. They're such an amazing band. Threat Point was in that. Ashfall, who is, an amazing band and amazing people. Death Forge, who unfortunately isn't together anymore, but I mean, phenomenal band. So we were kind of like, there's no way we're going to win this. We thought it was just going down between Cause of Affliction or Threat Point. So it was a real shock that we won.
That's really cool, and congratulations to you guys, man.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
I just keep calling us the Jethro Tull of the category.
Yeah, like when
I wouldn't say it was that much of a shock.
Jethro Tull beats Metallica. Yeah. That's how I felt.
That people are going to talk about that forever. That Jethro Tull, man. That's forever.
Best thing ever.
I remember when I saw them on the Injustice for All tour. That's how they opened the show. They would play Aqualung.
Really?
Yeah, they'd pipe in Aqualung, and then they'd come out and rip into it, and just keep jamming, and then it'd just lead right into a Metallica song.
That's
They didn't know whether to laugh or to school because they're doing it great, I was wondering who was going to pull out a flute,
It's usually Dan.
Skin flute.
I know that joke.
Awesome. So, give us some history on the band, man. Tell us about yourselves. Tell us how the band started, man.
We're not going to take up your entire show with the history of our band because it's way too convoluted.
It's a half-hour explanation.
Yeah,
it is.
Too long for 2 years.
Basically, myself and our drummer Mike started the band 2 years ago. A little over 2 years
July
ago.
2012.
And the band that you know now is not what we started out as. We had a different singer, we had a different bass player, different second guitar player, and a different musical direction. And we were together probably a good 6 or 8 months. We recorded a 5-song EP that we never released, and we decided we needed to make a sing with our vocalist. We needed to make a change. And we were lucky enough to find our vocalist now, Eric. And when he came in, it really just changed the whole dynamic of the band. It changed the direction we wanted to go in. And once we had really established him as a member, Dan, our lead guitar player, had taught me how to play guitar almost 10 years ago. And he had just come back to the area from North Carolina.
Yep.
And we just tackled him. We were like, come jam. And it was like instant chemistry. And by then, we needed to replace our bass player also, and our bass player, Steve, his band, Curse of Sorrow, was breaking up. So Dan and I were in music go-around in Wilkes-Barre looking at guitars and gear, and Steve walks in, and we're like, hey, happen to be looking for a band? And he's like, actually, I am.
Timing.
The timing was perfect. He came down. I think he jammed with us like a couple days. We let him like roast for a little while. We let him stew for about a week. But I mean, after like the first 2 days, we're like, this is the guy. And the chemistry was exactly what we needed it to be. So that's how we got to the lineup that we are at now.
So it took you 2 days, but from the interview I did with you for Ryan, you said Eric, it was just like a couple of...
I knew from the first note.
Yeah, first note there. Yeah.
Eric came in and we asked him to learn our song Curtain Call because it was already established and a cover, and he said he knew Deftones Back to School. So we're like, okay, cool, we'll jam this. And he comes in, and that first scream that you let out, where he's like, just run! I knew. That was it. That was the guy. Like, I had this big shit-eating grin on my face, and it was amazing.
It's funny, too, because when I see his do that now and he nails that,
yeah.
I immediately... think of the
That's all you
interview.
can
Like,
think
yeah, I get it.
Awesome. So, how'd you guys come up with the name Behind the Gray, man? What's the meeting we had?
It's almost an accident.
Yeah. I mean,
originally it was this will go back into an interesting piece of the band. Is the band's name was supposed to be Between Gray, and we were just throwing around names. It was kind of like one of the ones that had been stuck on the wall for a little while. And our old singer came in. He's like, I really dig that name, Behind the Gray. And we're like, that's way cooler than what we thought it was. And it just kind of stuck with us. And the more we thought about the meaning of it is, it's a play on words of there is no black and white, just shades of gray. And that was kind of like where we were at musically and our personal lives and everything. And the way you listen to a song, and you're like, this song is about a relationship. This song is about a breakup, or you listen to a song, you're like, this is a political song. You listen to the same part of it, in between those two black and white sections, there's that shade of gray where there's the truth about what the song is really about. And it fit us kind of perfectly. And it wasn't taken, so that was even better.
You didn't. That was horrible.
It could be metaphorical, too, like where you might think it's about a relationship, it's totally not about a relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I get it. Everything's definitely got gray meaning to it. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
So you guys tell us about the songwriting. Is it a one-person effort? Is it a group effort? How do you guys go about writing the tunes?
It's all me. I just write everything there. Oh, wait, no.
And then we play to a track live.
Yeah. No.
It's definitely a major group effort. I mean, Will does come in a lot of times with a lot of different things. He'll bring them to me. I'll work on some stuff. I mean, he brings in a lot of stuff, but anybody who brings in anything, it's a major collaboration. He can come in with the riff, and Steve can come in with something else, and it can actually turn into an entire song just off that. We all have our own say, and we definitely influence each other in different parts. I mean, he's come in with songs that he's thought would be super heavy songs, and as soon as I put drums to it, it's just a completely
different vibe.
Completely different song altogether.
The same thing with Steve has brought in a couple bass lines where we're like watching it and we're like, that's a guitar riff. And like as soon as we turned it into the riff, we're like, this is awesome. It sounds so different on bass, and you put it onto the guitar, you're like, this is killer. Like, this is awesome. So,
I can't write for myself.
Well, speaking of writing, we were in the practice space for 20 minutes today.
And we had to wait before we had to come here and knocked out a song.
Yeah. We were just playing back to back, like not thinking what the other guy's playing or what I was playing. He's like, what's that riff? I have a riff that goes with it. And it literally just melted together. And I think we got something. I hope that's good.
Yeah.
Let's hope it doesn't stale out. But
You got to remember it.
Yeah. I got a horrible memory. Oh my god.
A lot of
you guys
good riffs
record
lost to that. Yeah.
whenever you're doing that.
Well, he
you have
does.
Something running.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets to a point where we jam it live and see like where the direction goes, especially once the drums get introduced to the guitar riffs and everything. And once we've established, the rhythm and the skin and bones of it, it's kind of like, do we want to work this up? Does it speak to Eric and the vocals? Is there enough room with it? And then once we've jammed it a while, we make a demo of just an instrumental track, and we get it to our singer, and it lets him have time to come up with lyrics. Because he'll come up with melody and stuff like that on the fly, but having something to say, obviously, is the hardest part of the whole writing process.
And then even after he's done, we still go back occasionally, and we'll change parts that will fit for his vocals.
Yeah, once his vocals are on it, I know he's added other guitar parts or like just change it up a little to keep it going, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually music first, then it goes to Eric?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not like,
As
I
of
know
now.
Rush will, they wait for Neil to write. And then they write around his lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know if we've ever. No, I don't think Eric writes fast enough to do that. We probably have a good, 6 or 8 songs other than the 10 songs we're playing, just kind of banked already, because we come up with so much material that if we had to rely on Eric to divulge horrible personal parts of his life all the time, I think he would just be in tears all the time.
Yeah.
Eric, bring up a new type of pain. We have a new riff.
What's that
a
start
day or
looking
two
at?
for something to happen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We just have to kick him in the nuts every day or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Take his cane from him.
You take this cane.
If everything starts going good for him, what's going to happen to you guys? You're going to become like a
Yeah, I know. It's a really terrible
filler
thing.
exchange.
We're gonna turn to like what's that band? Sugar Ray.
Sugar
They were
Ray,
like
okay.
heavy, and then we'll just do like
You gonna add a DJ and
yes,
We'll be scratching on the guitars.
that's your new job. You're the DJ.
Why do I gotta be that guy?
Just you can go. You can be the hype man. Like yeah.
I want to be the hype man. This is awful. I'm not coming to these interviews anymore. Walked into the interview, a guitar player. Walked out as a DJ.
Not the hype man, not even the DJ.
You're the Flavor Flav of our band now.
He was the guy with the time that just carried the mirror around.
Yeah. But I have to say, Flavor Flav is probably the best musician that was ever in Public Enemy. He's like
in
a
Public Enemy?
he's like a
He can play everything.
he can play everything.
Really?
He's one of the greatest, but he
Real good
plays up
drummer,
to
he
being an
plays.
idiot.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's like a virtuoso.
yeah, he's all the gimmick.
Wow.
Yeah.
And no clue.
Nope.
So
The more you know.
now that
Yeah.
we're talking about your sound and maybe future sound, how would you describe your present sound?
Oh, what was the thing we heard? Skillet, if they had balls.
Oh yeah, if Skillet had balls and had a baby with a Treyu, you would get Behind the Gray. That was a pretty cool analogy.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, we got that from an interview a couple weeks ago. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You guys came up with that, or the
No, the interviewer set
Yeah,
up with
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Shit, that's
it was-
cool.
And normally we just kind of get like a what was it? A Deftones 7 Dust hybrid.
Yeah.
That's
A
usually
little bit of Chevelle in there, I always think.
Really?
I would never thought Skillet. Even
Neither
with
did I.
balls.
I think
It
we've
takes
done
a lot of balls.
I think, it's the way you look at a band, too. Maybe he looks at Skillet in a different way than we do.
Well, it's the same way we look at our own band. Is we don't really consider ourselves a metal band, but we got the best metal band award. So
Well, you know what? That brings up a little bit. There was, I don't want to call it controversy, but there was some hurt feelings, and
Yeah.
like as that you might not have been the heaviest band there, but like that comes down to all that stupid classification, genreification within genres. I personally hate. I mean, if I headbang to it, it's fucking metal, and you guys have seen me at your shows.
Yeah.
I wake up sore every time I see it. So you're
So
a
do
fucking
we.
metal band. That's all there is to it. You know?
It's not even so much a
There it is. Hey, buddy.
classification of
Say hi to
metal.
everyone.
Everyone. Ariel font for printer for Timothy.
Okay, bud. In a minute. We're live on radio. Want to say hi?
Hey, hi.
Okay. Karen, take him downstairs.
Yeah. Done, let's go.
I mean, the metal
Everybody
aspect.
wants to be behind the gray. What do you want?
There's such a wide variety of styles and genres of metal. I mean, any you can call, Fall Out Boy essentially could be a metal band if you really wanted to classify it some stupid ass way. But I mean, you have death metal bands, you have metalcore band. There's so many classifications.
Yeah, it's too much.
Like,
Everybody focuses on the intensity of it. and
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Just because you're not as intense does not mean you're not a metal band. I mean, it's a perception. It's how you feel about that gray area.
yeah.
We are that gray area.
It's also like I think we're a bit of a hybrid at some points too. Like we use a lot of metal riffs and metal ideas. Like our guitars are always tuned down to A sharp, so we're down there pretty far. But we use rock structures and guitar solos.
Right.
So musically, that kind of puts us somewhere between hard rock. But we also have a singer who can sing, and a singer who can scream his ass off. So it's one of those things where we can kind of live in both worlds, where we play with Grace's Downfall, we're the heaviest band of the night. We play with Threat Point, we look like puppies. You know, like, it's a weird, I guess, you know, again, gray area that the band kind of lives in.
Yeah, but metal fans don't need to do that though. Like, I mean, if it's good, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like I said, I headbang, and that's my cutoff point right there. If it made me, you know, headbang, I feel it's metal. Nothing else makes me headbang, right? So, you know, like there's definitely some softer metal, and I wouldn't even say you were soft, but like you know, I guess like Breaking Benjamin isn't really considered metal amongst the heavy duty metal fans. I always thought they were from the day they came out. I've always considered them a metal band. So I mean, like I would, if you had to classify you guys, I guess you're like in that area of metal.
Right.
And, you know, like I said, it's all the same. Metal's metal, and I think you were deserving winner. Anybody on that list, if he had underlined any name, I was happy with it. I was very proud to hand it to you guys.
I didn't care who won that. It was what it was.
Right.
You know, for us to win, it was. I'm proud of that. Very proud of it, and excited. I mean, I think we were speechless for about 10 minutes afterwards, like Mike said. You know, and just proud of each other.
Yeah.
You know, I was very proud of these guys because we didn't expect it. We were not expecting it at all. So.
I think I saw on Facebook, Eric said something about that too, that, you know, you were nominated for 3 different awards. He was nominated for Vocalist of the Year, Male Vocalist of the Year, and you guys also had the song Crack Inside nominated. But Eric said this was, you know, so much more pleasing because it was all of you. It was the band.
Yeah.
You know, not that the song wouldn't have been, but, you know, this was, you know, each individual effort recognized.
It was definitely awesome, and I think we're still a little bit on cloud 9 with it too.
Right.
You know,
Oh yeah,
that was
that's
awesome.
cool. And you know, I mean, you guys were it's by your peers, by your fans, by the people in our local industry. So that, I mean, that's, you know, hats off to you guys, man.
Thanks, man.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
So much.
Yeah, to me, the biggest part about the night is just the fact that there was so many good musicians in one room.
Yeah.
That was my
man.
favorite part of that night.
Yeah, I have never seen that.
We were talking to like Joe Caviston and Ken Norton, the guys who put it on, and they did not expect that turnout. And I guess the V Spot was not really prepared for it. So like, I don't know people who knew how close to capacity that place was going to go to.
Yeah.
So you probably had 200 local musicians in and out of that place.
Easily.
Plus whoever else came.
Yeah, plus like, you know, girlfriends and friends and fans. Like
It was definitely packed because we were shooting the red carpet, and then I'd have to come in to shoot a band, and then go through. And believe me, as big as I am, cutting through that crowd each time was a workout. You know, so like it was definitely packed to the gills, more than I've ever seen it.
It was probably one of the funnest things I've done in a long time.
Yeah.
It was just great to walk through a whole crowd and like just say hi to all these musicians I've never met or.
Yeah, a lot of people we were a little unfamiliar with, especially like, you know, like Whiskey Tango. My friend Jason Macheska plays bass, but I've never met the rest of his band.
Right.
And like even, you know, Charlie Russello and all those guys. Like, it was cool to finally meet them in person and not be like, hang on, I got 10 minutes before I have to go on stage, or you know, you got to leave so you can get your set together, whatever. It's nice to sit down, have a drink, and be like, you're awesome, and let me tell you why you're awesome.
It really was awesome. I mean, have you seen, like, I mean, I haven't been able to post all my pictures yet because they got to be published in Ion first, but I've got shots of, like, different combinations of bands, you know, and that's just the coolest thing because I've never seen that yet.
Yeah.
You know, like, unless they were playing on the same bill, you know, and I got a chance to, I was more like a paparazzi that night than just a live music shooter, you know.
Yeah.
So, that was so cool to see, you know, like, that kind of stuff going on, and,
And
I think I got shots with you and Grant,
Yeah.
you know, and stuff like that. So, like, that was just awesome.
It was really cool. But there's actually a couple like regional award shows that have been around, like the 717 Music Awards out in Harrisburg is in like its 7th or 8th year running.
Right.
The Millennium Music Conference, you know, that's in Harrisburg. It's a 3-day thing every February. For the first year the Electric City Music Conference is on, to have that kind of response and it to be that well organized, it's actually, you know, more. It's better organized than these things have been around for almost 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, it was probably 10 times better than the 717 Awards, which they were fun to be at, but I think there's a lot of lag time and like it just it seemed like it was nobody was pushing for things to happen.
And everybody doesn't realize too, like all the behind the scenes stuff that went on there. I mean, they got boned on venues, they got boned with bands. Like for them to still pull that off with all the last minute crap that happened. that's definitely kudos to Ken and Joel.
It came down to
well.
The day of and everything too, because myself and Grant were I was running sound for the conference on the off days, and then the day before I was running sound for the Keys show on Saturday night, and we had to play on Sunday. Cavison comes to me and he's like, "All right, cool, you're good to do sound on Sunday too, right?" I'm like, "Dude, I gotta play."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh God." So,
did you run a door too?
Yeah, Grant was running door.
Grant ran a door.
So we were running back and forth between doing sound, running the door, playing our show. It takes a village to raise a kid, and that's their baby. So I think next year too, they're gonna know what works, what doesn't, and they're gonna have it down to a science.
The coolest thing I saw Sunday was all the bands helping each other tear down, set up. I mean, it was I've yet to see that. Yeah. Other than the Project Independent was run real well too, but.
Well, I mean, we always talk about that, about the scene in this area, the camaraderie, the brotherhood in this area.
Absolutely.
Everybody helps one another. It's not cutthroat here like it is in the bigger cities or.
If you get too many bands that want to undercut each other, it destroys your scene. Because I hate saying scene too. It's a music community.
Yeah.
All of us actually have been in separate bands. For almost 10 years. Believe it or not, Grant, the bass player of Grace's Downfall, which is a hard rock band, used to be my roommate 10 years ago, my first roommate, and he played in a death metal band.
Yeah.
So he was in a death metal band called Reptilian Dream. I was in a hardcore band called Hope Fails You, and we lived in the same apartment together. Yeah. And then eventually, we grew into other bands and other projects. And
Reptilian Dream, that was with
Shane.
Shane from Peter Kennedy.
Yeah. I wish I had seen that. I've seen a video.
Yeah.
Sorry. I remember it was one of the guys from Hope Fails You gave me your demo.
Probably Frankie.
Years back, and I was playing it on my show even back then.
Oh, thank you, man. That's cool. See? Full circle. Everything just happens.
That was a different band.
Yeah. Mike and I were in a band called Full Circle that opened for Rev Theory.
With Grant.
With Grant.
Yeah, well,
we played.
Yeah, Dan and I played in a band that we don't talk about because it was awful.
That was 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
With Grant.
Yeah. So, I mean, that camaraderie comes with mutual respect, and Grant and I have said for a long time, we're not good. We just sucked long enough to earn respect.
Yes. Yep.
That's awesome.
Garnished a lot of pain along the way.
That's what it is. You just learn so much that you learn what not to do. So they remember the good stuff. You know those good few tips.
Exactly.
Do those few. Don't do the bad. Nobody will forget it.
Yeah, but you nailed it relatively young, though. Don't think it's that bad. I mean, look at Charlie.
Yeah.
He's been the greatest guitar player in maybe the world, and he finally got an award for it. So,
hey, at least he got the award, man.
I'm just gonna feel bad for him next year.
And all he wanted was a nomination. He was happy with the nomination. If Janusz had got it, being that it was he's a student and everything, he would have been just as happy. So what you were saying, about it being a community. For 99% of the people I've met and worked with in this community, that is how it is. People really seem to come together.
Right.
Everything I've seen.
Yeah.
Awesome. Guys, you play a lot of live shows?
Yeah. Probably play between 60 to 100 shows a year. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, we get around.
Okay, question for each of you. Best and worst thing about the live gigs?
Sound guys.
That goes either way.
That's the best and the worst thing. Yeah, I'll go with sound guys and load-ins with stairs, because I hate stairs.
Daniel.
Well, the best thing about live gigs is, I guess, just playing, hanging out with these guys and not doing a normal job.
Yeah.
And the worst is waking up the next day, because I'm way too old to be doing this. It hurts.
Steve.
The best thing I can say is probably just what the stage transforms us into. We're different people at practice, we're different people when we're out, but when we get up there, that it just overcomes us, and that has to be the best feeling, just being up there. The worst is probably the heat. It gets really hot on some of the shows, especially with the hair.
I hear you. Mike,
yeah, right.
I'd have to say the best thing, just being at a show and just seeing people enjoy the music. Because if nobody shows up, no matter how much I enjoy playing and, whatever they're doing, I'm with these guys one way or another. I'm with these four, their family. If Ken shows up and he's the only one there, I'm going to perform for him. And I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure if he paid a $5 cover to get in that door, that he has the best time that he can have. And I try to do that with every single person. And it's how I try to be. That's honestly the best thing. I mean, just being able to give back to the people who are supporting us. The worst
would be only playing to me.
Worst, I'd have to say,
breaking your fingers off snare drums.
Damaging my body sucks, but I don't know. I can't really say that there's anything that I really dislike that much. I mean, you're gonna have bad sound
hangover after.
Oh yeah. No, there's no hangovers after.
You just drink
Click dies.
Yes.
Oh. Now that's gonna happen. Great.
So I'm just so used to. There's always going to be something negative somewhere, and I just try to ignore the fact that it happened. I mean, you're going to have a bad sound guy. You're going to have to load your equipment in no matter where you're at, no matter what stage you're at, unless you get, multi-million records and you have roadies. We're still going to have to load all our stuff in no matter what venue it is. Just load it in and deal with it.
Cool. Well, top two answers: sound guys,
Yeah.
and bathrooms. Bathrooms. I've heard stories from, fruit flies in the urinals to, outhouses. So,
well, me and him, we did the CBGB's gig way back in the day, obviously before it closed. But that was that's the worst bathroom in the history of bathroom. Oh man,
just seeing,
too.
Yeah, it's terrible, man.
When you go down and there's no covers on the doors and you see a guy crap and it comes out all right.
There's a place in Albany that doesn't have stalls. When I went up last year for my birthday, actually, I'm going up again this year. I don't remember the name of the place, but if you got to take a shit, if anybody walks in that door,
you're on stage.
And if
Performance the whole day.
if somebody doesn't pull that door closed all the way, then that door's anybody who's in that venue can see you just sitting on the toilet.
There's a place in North Carolina I played 4 years ago, and the girl's bathroom had just like a shower bathroom door.
Nice.
And if they left it open, there was literally just like the toilet sitting there. So like if someone walked by and just pulled it, you just see a girl sitting on the toilet. It was the weirdest thing ever. And you could see it from the stage. Like someone would just walk by and do this, and you're like, does anybody like who is this nasty to do this? Yeah, like
A girl came out of the stall at the V Friday night when I was in there. I looked at the guy. That just happened, right? And he's like, yeah.
Was Mike in there with her?
No, she was solo. She was
we have
room was packed, so he just took a chance.
Wasn't me this time.
No.
Wasn't old enough.
That was a crazy night.
First song I want to play tonight, Curtain Call.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell us about the tune?
First song we came up with as a band.
I had the riff and the song structure in a previous band, and when I brought it to Mike, we just basically redid it, retweaked it, and the person who wrote the lyrics, Mart Wachkiewicz, is the backup vocalist on the song. So when we did, the whole thing and Eric sang it, we asked Mark to come down and do the backup vocals and, kind of send the song off and put the shine on for us. So it's the first song, first single that we put out, and we close every show with it.
All right, check it out, gang. Curtain Call from Behind the Grave. We'll be right back.
can go home. There's nothing left to say. I have nothing more to give to you. I have nothing left to lose. It's all for you. I have nothing more to give to you. For you. I got nothing to you. Yeah.
You're tuned into the Keep It Metal Show on NewRadioRadio.com. All right, gang, welcome back to the Keep It Metal Show. We have special guest host Ken Jones. Ken, who do we have?
We got the guys from Behind the Gray, and we're having another killer show on the Keep It Metal Show.
Awesome. Now, we just heard Curtain Call. Like I said, if during the break, if I knew you guys closed with that one, I would have closed with that one, and I should have realized that with the name of the song, but my bad.
Hey, it's all good.
Guys, question for each of you. We'll start with you, man. When did you first get into music? When did you know that this is what you wanted to do?
I got into music really late in life. Like, I didn't have any friends who were into music or anything, and my friend gave me a copy of Deftones' White Pony, and he's like, listen to this. And I think by the third track, I was just hooked. I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. And by then, like, the whole new metal scene had broken out, you know, Korn, Deftones, Taproot, Linkin Park, and I saw Deftones on Warped Tour, I think. No, they were playing the
Family Values.
Family Values of the Kingston Armory?
Yeah.
Whatever it was. It was years and years ago, and the singer did the entire set in the crowd with like a 90-foot mic cable. And I just looked up at him, and I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. and that was it. And I started, you know, I bought a guitar from a pawn shop down in Scranton for $100. It was an Epiphone Les Paul Special. And yeah, and I played. I still have it.
I remember that one.
And I hit this joker up, and he was already playing in a band that I went to go see a lot because he was in a cover band. And I think the first couple things he ever taught me was Thunderkiss 65.
Yeah.
And Rage Against the Machine. And
Deftones, My Own Summer.
And Deftones, My Own Summer. And I never stopped. And, you know, it was viral.
Yeah.
It was one of those things, like, my mom told me years ago, when I said I wanted to be a musician, she's like, find people, you know, that love it as much as you do and just wrap yourself up in it. And once you wrap yourself up in it, no one can touch you. So that's why, like, I tattooed the music notes on me, was because I just wrapped myself up in all the things that I love, and I was like, that was what I wanted to do.
Cool. Daniel.
I got into music really early. Me and my twin brother, my mom would put on this Billy Joel beta tape, and we would just, she'd give us these crochet needles, and we had this woven couch, and we'd stick one in as a microphone and start swinging with the other, which doesn't sound really good for child safety, but I mean, that's why I still am.
Rock and roll, man.
Yeah, that's why I don't hear in my right ear if you stuck one in there. But that's how I got into it. And Mike's breaking things.
Hey, it's usually me. Way to go, Mike.
But that's how I got into
good,
it. Was
like,
just drumming with crochet needles at 3-4 years old, and then from there it was just listening to Queen and the Guess Who and John Fogerty. You know, that was like my trifecta of music when I was a kid.
Cool, man. Steve.
Well, I kind of used it to keep myself out of trouble. Ever since I mean, when I was little, my mom would carry out of the mall football style. I'd just be throwing stuff out of her purse. She'd keep going. And she took notice that I could tell you what song was on the radio when I was, like, you know, a foot tall. And they kind of just kept supporting it because I wasn't getting in trouble. I was learning something. And
that's a good thing, eh?
Yeah, there was about a 5-year gap where I was just kind of an oddball even to myself. And I said, I think I'll play guitar. And I played guitar for 7 years, picked up bass about, it's got to be 3.5 years now. I mean, it just come natural. I mean, I've had to work at it, but
3.5 years, that's it?
yeah, on bass.
Wow.
You're a beast for 3.5 years.
Oh, thank you.
I ask a lot of bass players this: are you a bass player or are you a disgruntled guitarist?
I prefer the term bassist.
Seeing you, I never would have thought you were previously a guitar player because you play bass well, like not just.
Well, I had come to a point in my guitar playing where I realized that to me, I just don't feel that I have what it takes to be a lead guitar player, which is something that I always aspired to be. I love my favorite guitar player of all time is Joe Satriani, and I just listen to his records and what he can do. And then I listened to everybody that he played with, all the bass players, and so when I heard Stu Hamm, it blew my mind. And actually, I worked up at Wayne's World for 2 years between Pittston and Dallas, and at the time, Aaron Bruck was working there for a little while. And at that point, I was asking him all kinds of questions, and he's the one who pretty much said, "You should try this." And I picked up a bass, talked with him for a few hours, and he basically got my start.
Aaron Bruck, for your international fans that are listening tonight, is now the bass player for Breaking Benjamin, correct?
Yes.
And he was in what band previously? Local?
Hour After.
All right.
But he was in a lot.
I haven't been here for 5 years, sorry.
Yeah.
He was in Panacea for a long time.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the one.
And you. For learner, that's how I met him.
Probably.
Cool. Mike, what about you, man?
Actually, I got started when I was 13.
Listening to Kiss.
Yeah.
Peter Chris' solo album.
Just bet.
Never going to go away.
Wait, which one was the favorite fan?
That's Will. I was always in bars. My family owned bars and always worked in bars, and I got to meet a band of musicians, and they were, and to this day, still play in miscellaneous bands. They just hanging out with them. The one night they asked me to come and hang out at a picnic. And I went with them, and I saw them play, and I got to, help them load everything up and set everything up. And the first night I saw, everybody doing their thing, I was watching the drummer, and I caught myself specifically watching the drummer. And from then on, I just, I bought my first drum set, and from then on, I just, taught myself for the most part. But, I have... They're probably in 3 or 4 different bands now, but basically a cover band got me into everything that I'm into now.
Right?
Cool, man. Cool.
It's funny how cover bands work. They got me into a band when I was a kid. It was like 94. And there was this cover band that played for 3 years straight at the Gouldsboro Picnic. And it was just a 4-piece, and they played every, Pearl Jam song that was on the radio and stuff. And I just remember staring at I want to be that girl playing guitar.
Yeah.
I kind of got there.
When I was a kid, there was the Arena Billiards in, was it Taylor?
Yeah.
Music. Yeah, and this clown and what was Ashfall, they used to be called Scapegrace, used to be played there in Owen's Grudge, and they'd have the pool tables, and the bar was next to it. And they had like this big plate glass like section where you could sit on the other side and rent a pool table and watch the bands. And that's what we did, was we would just, because I wasn't 21, I couldn't get into the bar, so I would just sit there and watch, Ashfall before their Ashfall, Idolize, Owen's Grudge, all these bands. That was awesome. And I got introduced to new music. It was the first time I heard Tool was through a cover band.
Right.
So,
which Franklin's band, Inc. used to play there all the time.
Yeah.
We used to play with them all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Will, who are your musical influences, man?
Big influence for me is Mark Tremonti from Creed, Alter Bridge. I mean, he's just a monster. I have his instructional DVD that I live by.
Did you go to the show the other night?
No. I unfortunately had other prior things. I think I had some going on with the Electric City Music Conference. It was the reason I couldn't go.
Was it over the weekend?
Yeah, it was, because Jay Green texted me that he won tickets, and I'm like, I couldn't go for whatever reason. I was like, it was free tickets, too. It did hurt. But
Steven said Tremonti was just amazing.
He is. That was like where I started with, and then like I've gotten into, I guess, like more modern influences, like Misha Mansour from Periphery is a huge influence on me now. You know, bands like Trivium and Adam from Killswitch Engage are big influences now. So I think I've evolved. It started off with Stephen Carpenter from the Deftones and Adam Jones from Tool.
Yes.
Cool. Daniel.
I started mostly with blues players, you know, Stu Ray Vaughan, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, B.B. King, and that's where I learned to solo or play notes and actually mean what they were for, instead of just playing 30 million notes in a minute. You know, just take that one, because I wasn't good enough yet. So take one and make it feel like it was 30. And then later on, I got into the heavier stuff like Korn and Limp Bizkit, and I was like, I gotta learn to palm mute now. So I just that's kind of got me a little further, and then I can't even think of the guitar player's name, but there's one guy on YouTube a couple years ago that got me into like just practicing every day, because I would just watch what he did and just kept playing, and that's basically it.
Cool, man. Cool. Steve.
Influences. Everything. I know where you're going. In an interview we did with Iron Magazine with Ken, I had mentioned that ABBA and Warren Zevon were part of my influences, and yes, they are. I just for about
the girls in ABBA influenced me, but that's not the subject we want to talk about.
There you go.
The skin flute.
The boys actually influenced Mike.
Why not? But no, I mean, I literally listen to everything, and just as I said with Ken in that interview, like it's not about the music that they're making; it's how they're making it. You know, you give a drummer a keyboard, what's he going to do with it? You give a keyboard player a guitar, what's he going to do with it? How are they going to, attack that instrument? And it's pretty much just going off of how everybody else does it and finding that medium and what I enjoy and what I'm good at.
Right.
Sweet. Mike.
I mean, initial influences were actually the cover band that got me into it. And the guy who played drums, Jamie Hutchinson, he fills in for all sorts of bands, cover bands, original bands. As for more modern stuff, I listen to such a wide variety. I mean, I don't listen for specific drummers. I will try to listen to as much music, no matter what genre it is, and just see what influences I can pull out of each thing. One band in particular who jumps styles, actually I was making Dan listen to it, I think last week or the week before. They're a band called the Bunny the Bear from Buffalo, but they jump from like piano, clean singing, to electronica, to hardcore, to death metal in one song. Like, that is ridiculously hard to pull off.
Right.
To pull, all different styles of genres and be able to, keep, the same rhythm, the same timing. Like, that's just ridiculous in
Just to
itself.
make it sound good, like a cohesive song.
Mm-hmm.
Not just a bunch of mishmash crap.
I mean, going from, Dr. Dre's The Chronic album to any album that Misery Index has ever put out, I try to pull different influences, from each and every thing. I mean, Joey Jordison, pretty much anything he touches drum-wise, I think is phenomenal. I mean, I don't like to name specific people because it's just, such a wide variety to me. Yeah.
Cool, man. So, guys, when you're not writing, playing out, rehearsing, or doing work for the band, man, what do you guys do for time off?
Time off?
What do you have that?
Find that for you?
We get 1 day a week, I think.
Yeah, basically. This is pretty much our life. This is exactly what we want to do with our life. And outside of, obviously every member contributes their musical instruments and, playing shows and everything, but there's another side to music. So, like, I do a lot of the business and the booking and, promotions and stuff like that. And, Steve runs our merch and does all that. The organization, the PR stuff. Mike, handles, obviously, like, he does all of our radio interview things. So when we're not doing the band, we're doing the band. Just it's kind of that. So I that's a terrible thing to think about. Haven't done anything other than I'm going to go on a vacation this Friday with my girlfriend to Maryland, and the only thing I can think about is playing guitar. And I'm just going to sit at my laptop and write riffs, and I'm going to email them to Dan, who's going to email me back more riffs, and then we're going to come back Monday, and that's literally all I do.
Let me say something on that. The way you guys live it, like you just said, I think when I was talking about the drama, a little bit about the award, was it Dave Klein from Ashfall, right? He actually said that because I think you guys had all said, like if Ashfall had won, like they deserved it and everything.
Yeah.
Dave came out and said, like, hey, we're Weekend Warriors. You guys fucking
live it.
Yeah.
And he was thrilled that you guys won, and there was, that feeling that even they knew how dedicated you guys are, like that you don't have personal lives.
Yeah, it's fairly unfortunate, but I mean we have amazing supportive people behind us. Like I have a girlfriend, Dan has a girlfriend, Steve has a girlfriend, engaged, fiance.
Mike's got a couple in every.
He's got 9, got 9 kids. So
no, Steve's got 9 kids, not me.
Just in case nobody
we have these amazing people behind us who support us and understand. Weekends are shot. 3-4 days out of the week are shot for rehearsals, writing, recording, plus another, day or so out of the week for the promotion, radio interviews, things like that. And, if I can crawl into bed and get hey babe, how was your day before I pass out, usually
that's
I'm
good
with it. It's weird as I was actually, I'm in my relationship for 5 years straight. For the first 3 years I never had an anniversary or a New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, my first New Year's Eve, I was in Oklahoma City playing the Diamond Ballroom, and I never had a holiday until the band broke up, and then I performed Behind the Gray, and then we went back to
this life. Yeah.
Well, we had last year because I ended up DJing last New Year's.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. It's a
but it's still music. I mean, you're still you didn't take a regular night.
Oh no, there's never. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's just always something going on. Actually, I was talking to Jenny from Blame Shift today because they're back on the road again until God only knows. They're always on the road. And she said something about a show, and I was like, hey, I'm working 6 12-hour days, and then my normal job, and between band practices and interviews, I'd have you if I see 2 hours of sleep a night, and if I wasn't doing this, actually people usually try to get me to DJ if we're not playing. So
it's that, or if we're not playing, it's can you do sound? Yeah, okay.
I don't think people realize how hard you guys work. Not just you, but musicians in general.
Oh yeah. Even in cover bands, think about you're playing 4 hours straight, learning all these songs that everybody knows, and you mess up one thing, and all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh, you played that song wrong." No, I played it the way I wanted to play it. You listened to it wrong.
That's outstanding. People give cover bands a lot of crap, man. But again, playing for 4 hours, we'll play a 90-minute set, and I'm drained. I got nothing left. I just want to crawl across the floor in my sweat-soaked jeans and die. These guys are playing 4 hours in a casino, and I can't.
Yeah,
I
can't imagine.
I'm in this corner, but I've seen your shows, and there's a reason you guys are trained after the show. I'm sorry.
I'm sore just watching
you. Every band plays a show like you guys do.
I'm surprised there's still a pair.
I gotta say, because now I know you two were there. I think, yes, I know you were definitely there. You probably were too.
More than likely.
The lyric show, I played a full set with them, and then as soon as we were done, I legitimately threw stuff in my car, and I went to do a fill-in set with a cover band for a benefit.
Injured.
Yeah, I did. I pinched a nerve in my hand during middle of our set, and then I went and played an hour-and-a-half set with Ashley's Attic, learning 15 cover songs that I'd never played before outside of.
You played Kiss that night.
I did.
Yes! I wish that was on tape.
Oh, it was so Oh, that was so bad.
It was weird. I was having a conversation with the guys, and
what's the Kiss reference here?
He doesn't really care for Kiss. He had to do. Was it Shot Me, right? Shot, yeah. So he wasn't happy that and the entire crowd was, blown away at Shock Me. That was probably the highlight of the night, and he was all bummed out back there.
I didn't do that.
That's why I bust him about Peter Criss all the time.
First off, it was the first song of the night. I was in an immense amount of pain, and I didn't like the song to begin with, but I did it to help my friends out.
Right.
Their drummer couldn't do it, and they asked me. I was the first person they called, and when it all worked out, it was
You're
cool.
actually the 9th person he called. We just wanted to make him feel really
They
good.
called me before they called him, but
Whatever. They probably called Tom.
You said no, they called me too.
Yeah, there you go. She was going to bring her bongos.
So I played, and, as everybody said, our shows are ridiculously draining as is. To get off stage with 3 people taking stuff off the stage and throwing it into the back of my car while another person is giving me ice to ice my hand so I can drive 20 minutes and have 5 minutes before I have to load right back up on stage and play another set. That was probably the longest night I've ever dealt with, and
And you could tell. I saw you when you walked in, because we got there a little bit earlier than you, and I hadn't known you had hurt yourself yet. As soon as you walked in, I was like, what's the matter? And I don't ever have to ask him what's the matter.
Yeah.
That's actually Mike's biggest and best quality in this band is, we've been a band over 2 years. For anyone who doesn't know, I think Mike has never been late to a practice or has never not been early. He's the first dude in the door. He's the last dude to leave. Mike shows up, gives his guts every single practice, every single show. And he's probably one of the few drummers that takes criticism very well to the point he just wants to improve and do what's best for the band. There's parts where we had to simplify a lot of the drum beats that he was doing, and he plays to a click track all the time. That was the thing, was we were playing without a click track. We were just playing like a regular live band, and there's tempo fluxes and adrenaline kicked in, and he's like, I think I feel more comfortable playing to a metronome all the time. And he took it upon himself to, get a system in place for him, get his own inner ears, get it set up. And, Mike's one of those stand-up dudes who will do whatever it takes to keep the band going and to keep us tight.
Well, I can speak on that as far as tightness. The video that you guys were so gracious enough to endorse, I mean, that was just something I was screwing around with. Yeah, the unofficial video for Learning to Breathe. I think it was the first night you'd ever played it live. It was at the factory about 3-4 months ago.
July.
Yeah. And Mike had told me, I was there filming Gray Morning's show at the time. It was supposed to be their final show. So I was just dialing in my camera with all the previous bands before them, to make sure everything was right, my settings were good. And since Mike had told me they were going to do this new song, I filmed the entire song. And when I did the interview, we did an in-studio performance where we just synced it up, or they played to the MP3 and pretty much, lip synced, or whatever you want to call it. And we put that in the interview, but the interview was so good and so big, I had to cut it into 2 parts. I didn't know what to do for the second part, if I was just going to put the performance in again. And I said, all right, let me just see what happens with that live footage I have. And anybody who does video knows, syncing, that part's tough. And it's synced perfectly. That's unreal. You guys did that 4 months ago, 5, whatever, and your timing was so good then to when you recorded the MP3 that it's synced. There was one part where I guess lyrics hadn't been written yet.
Yeah.
So I just changed the camera angle and you got more time than you deserved.
Hey, I don't get enough
Story
time.
of Dan's life.
Yeah. Not enough time for Dan.
For 2 verses, not 2 verses, but 2 stanzas.
We really take pride in the fact that we sound like what we do when we record.
Right.
And a lot of that is a lot of rehearsal, a lot of practice, a lot of, on Mike's end, a lot of nitpicking.
It's amazing.
I think we're our own critic too.
Yeah.
If whether it's our tone or just simple things, we just get very picky.
Mm-hmm. We even watch a lot of. It's kind of like a football team. We watch a lot of our live videos and our live set, and we critique and we pick, and we're like, this was awesome, but we're kind of boring here, so let's figure out something we can do live or something to entertain, because we want to be the best band we possibly can be.
And we don't want you to ever just have a moment, even if we have a slower song, we don't want you to sit there and be like, well, it's time to get a beer.
Right.
That's not. I don't understand you need to get a beer, but I don't want it to be because of a song. I want it to be like, I gotta get a beer. Should I get it? Should I not?
Even if it's something as stupid as just making, like, I tend to make really stupid faces at people on purpose just to see their reaction. And actually, Maeve got a picture the one night at the factory, and I was making the dumbest face, and I don't know when it happened, but I'm like.
No, Mike, dude, this is an intervention. That's actually your face. It's just all the time,
It's under the normal face at that point in time.
Well, a lot of drummers make the craziest faces, though. I mean, as a photographer, I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike's are a little off the hook. Sometimes I'll go through and I'll be like, I've learned from you, you want to show the best side of each performer.
Yeah.
Well, some of Mike's faces, I'm just like, no, he won't like that.
Actually, you know what?
Those are the ones to put up.
Just send them all to me, because there has been certain photographers, which I won't name right now, that I would wait to see them to try to take my picture, and I would deliberately make faces at them. So they would, I'd be, doing my thing, paying attention, and I'd see them come out and be like this. And they'd be like, I can't get a good picture of you. I don't know why.
Let's say, Will. I forgot his name.
The guy right here.
That dude.
He
this is Daniel. This is Will.
But for some reason, I think Will said this to me once. Like, you cannot find a good picture of you.
Yeah, it
like
doesn't happen.
He moves too much.
Come on.
And he's just.
There's
no, you've gotten some. There's only a few people that can get them.
Out of the show, we'll get some pictures back from people from live shows and stuff, and you'll have 2 or 3 really good ones of Mike. You'll get 9 good ones of Steve, 30 pictures of Eric, probably 15 pictures of Dan, and 3 of me. I'm like, which one does the guitar look the best in? Yeah. That's the one I'm keeping. Whatever one my guitar looks the best.
Me personally, what I've noticed, you seem to be concentrating on everything that's going on.
I don't want to hit anybody.
It's ripped out Steve's hair, right?
Yes,
I hit him again at the award show or on Sunday, and I felt so bad.
That is why I'm so happy to have my own side. My ego fits right there in that little box.
It's very, very hectic on stage. If you've never seen us and you do see us, I'm glad I'm behind a wall of drums, because they know where they're at. But
they aren't there.
Yeah, no, it is.
What do you call it, Steve? You go lights out?
What's that?
Do you go lights out when the show happens?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it happens, but we don't know what's going on.
It's organized chaos at the best in the best possible case.
Yeah.
Cool. Guys, question for each of you is again, your most epic moment with this band or any band?
Epic. I gotta say, winning that Best Metal Award, that was pretty epic. That was, that was jaw-dropping. So many amazing bands, friends, family, nominated by, our fans and everything. That's awesome. That's a huge moment for us.
I'm kind of shocked on yours for that one. I figured playing on your birthday with Taproot was
he
up there.
Said any band, too.
Any band?
Yeah,
any band you were, yeah.
For this band, that was obviously the biggest, other than us putting out the record, probably. Any band... Yeah, that'll probably be the biggest runner-up. I was on tour in my previous band with a band called Taproot, and I'd seen them. We were on tour for 36 days, or 36 shows over 2.5 months, and I learned one of their songs just by watching them play it so much, and they were like an influence to me. They were like one of those bands I came up listening to, and I played it, and their guitar tech said, "Hey, Will from Absolution knows Fracture. You should let him play it at Soundcheck." And I was like, all right. And I went up and I played it, and they're like, "How about you guys play with me on stage during one of the PA leg of the tour?" And I was like, "Okay." And like I got the lead singer handed me his guitar. I got on stage and played it with him, and it was such an amazing moment.
Wow.
It was such. Those are such cool dudes. I can still keep in touch with them, but that was such a great moment.
That's cool.
I called my dad like immediately. Like as soon as that, like, Dad, it finally happened.
Awesome, Daniel.
Oh, I don't even know if I have one. I mean, it's been pretty steady with everything. Actually, my proudest moment has to be when we did Learning to Breathe. Because I haven't recorded or probably in 7 years. So it was just really cool to get in there. And when I put down the first solo I did, I was like, oh, that's very fluent. And I was very excited. And I was like, all right, cool. And I did this, one harmonic. And I just remember, I think it was Eric came running in. He's like, what the heck is that sound? I was like, all right, And at the end of that recording of that solo, to me, is probably the proudest moment I've ever had. Just, to me, it sounds like not me. That's probably why I'm happy with it. It doesn't sound like me, so that's my proudest.
Cool. And Steve?
Well, my most glorified moment I'd have to put back to my previous band. We played up at Montage Mountain for Mayhem Fest.
Yeah.
And Anthrax just got done playing, and we're on the stage 20 feet away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was mind-blowing. I'm sorry, no, it was Whitechapel that finished up. We went on, and then Anthrax played, and then who were the Mexican hardcore guys?
Only you?
No. The lead singer went missing for a while.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I was there.
I don't know. Anyway, they came on after us, but just I had no idea how many people were there until I saw pictures slowly arising as the days passed.
Huge.
Oh, it blew my mind. So the following days of playing Mayhem honestly glorified that day.
Wow.
And that, just playing in front of that many people blew my mind.
Cool. Mike?
I think I've got two. I'll use one for past, one for present, because I can't really decide which one is more. In a past band in like 2006, 2007, I was lucky enough to play the first ever Infest in Asbury Park, New Jersey at the Stone Pony. 3,000 people, any ridiculous death metal, hardcore band you can think of was there. I got asked to play with the band that I was in at that moment, and it was probably one of the coolest things. Like walking in, they gave you your laminates, and you could pretty much go and talk to anybody, hang out with anybody. You play your half-hour set, 45 minutes. I don't even remember how long it was that I even played, but we did our thing. And it was right there on the beach. So you played, if there was, a 20-minute break where you didn't, need to hang out with somebody or see something, you just walk over and you just sit on the beach for a little bit. And you'd go back. That personally is my top. Now with this band, I'd say solidifying this lineup. Because this lineup is definitely... I've enjoyed every lineup that we've had, and we've had a lot. But in general, this lineup, I have not even the slightest complaints of anything. Everybody steps up their game. If somebody's having an off day, I think Will's even said it in past interviews, like even at shows, if he gets to a point where he may not be feeling it, he'll turn around and he'll look at me and Steve, or he'll look at Dan. Everybody in this band motivates each other to take themselves to the next level. And it's not always that way, I think every single person makes themselves a better player by being surrounded by each other member in this band.
Yeah.
Cool, guys, cool.
I have a proud moment, though, of Will.
Oh, God. Oh,
no, it's not a bad thing, no. But I remember it was when I was joining. No, I swear, it's good. When I joined the band, it was the first time I got to hear Crack Inside, and Will did the solo on it. And every time I listen to this, I cannot believe it's Will. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but it's that. I remember the first time hearing it, I was just so proud, like a father. I don't know. And it's just one of the coolest moments for me. So every night he plays that solo, which I'm lucky I get to go to his side of the stage. It's just cool for me.
That's cool.
Yeah, so now it's actually I did a good solo, so he's not like, no, I didn't teach him, it's cool. So now, now that I could play, he's like, it's cool, I was his teacher. Yeah, and when I sucked, he was like, I don't know that guy.
Awesome. Okay, guys, we talked about your most epic moments. Tell us about your Spinal Tap moments.
Okay, define Spinal Tap moments. Like, this, the things would terribly go wrong.
Like extremely small Stonehenge, which different.
So many. So many.
It's
Vaughn.
I wish Jay was here just so we could talk about
There's not
falling
too much
off
that went
stage.
good for Spinal Tap, so yeah, it would be the bad one.
Getting lost in Cleveland, can't find the stage.
Oh my God, I can't pick
Do we
one.
have one?
I feel probably the worst of when we were in State College and Steve's hair got tangled around the headstock of my guitar, and the guitar went the opposite direction of his head, and it literally pulled out like almost his entire hair. People asked if I broke all the strings on my guitar, but I didn't. It was just the hair hanging off the end of it, and like I think there was like blood in it. I felt like it was the first song of the night. It was the very first song I did it to him. I felt awful about that.
I'm just trying to create wind to cool off, and here you are killing my fan.
We were opening for Tantric and Edema at a place called Eleanor Rigby's in German, and we got the direct support spot. And I roll my rig on stage and everything, and they're going through the line check. And mind you only get like a 10-minute line check, and then you get a half-an-hour set. And if anything happens, they start cutting time, they start cutting songs. Because it's, opening for a national. They're not going to let this show go too long. And I'm on stage, and I hit the guitar, and nothing comes out. And I roll over to pedal board, checking all my cables, everything's fine, check the guitar. So they're like, okay, we'll come back to you. They go through the entire band, line check the drums, the other guitar, bass, all the vocals, everything. I still have no sound on my guitar. Nothing. I'm going through, I'm pulling cables and everything. One of the cables in the back from my wireless pack was in the wrong section that got put in, and it was in a stage cart, so like I didn't know it was plugged in wrong. I ate up 15 minutes, 20 minutes, we got 3 songs. And like, we sold like 100 tickets to this show. There was like 800-900 people at this show. And Steve,
I drove over an hour to come see just you guys.
I was there too. Yeah, they were there. We got to play.
Carolina.
We got to play 3 songs. I felt awful. That was really bad.
Daniel,
my moment has to be me and my twin were in a band and we were playing down in Allentown at the Croc Rock. We always loved to jump up on these subs that were on the floor. We always had to watch out for the speakers that were hanging above.
Yeah.
Well, which I didn't know he did at the same time, but both of us at the same time jumped up on the speaker and went head first into the other speaker. And both of us looked at each other with blood trickling down our faces like, did you do that too? And like we were just
Did you
like,
feel it? The twin thing?
I felt it, yes. It wasn't it was his pain.
You felt his pain.
Yeah,
You felt
yeah. But it was just like, and he looked over at me and I looked at him and we were just like why did we've been on these things 30 times prior. But no, that night, opening up for Vanilla Ice, we had to headbutt a fucking monitor.
Steve.
It's internet radio.
Yeah. God, jeez. Well, other than forgetting my pedal board for a show,
You're a bass player, you don't need him.
I have more than you. You're just jealous.
Overcompensating.
And getting my hair ripped out. Jeez. Again, my prior band was doing a 2-week tour, and the first night out, we play our show. The announcer for the project was nice enough to let us stay at his residence, and he had a dog. I'm allergic to the world. I mean, food, pets, all that. I had no idea, so I wake up the next morning and I'm just all plugged up, and it just turned into this big sinus infection for the next 2 weeks. So I played 2 weeks every night sick.
Mike.
I honestly can't even think of one right now. I've been trying to think of one since you asked the question. I got nothing right now on that.
I think that just kind of is a good thing about our band, how we're just struggling trying to find them, is we roll with the punches so well usually.
Yeah.
That we just forget them. Like, if I forget a chord, mess the thing up, I start laughing like it's the funny. It's just, nobody wants to see a miserable dude.
Yeah.
Well, unless you really are into that miserable metal. I don't know.
I mean,
Oh, no, that's true, though. I mean, I seen Cinderella one night at Tinks, and they were having all kinds of grief.
Mm-hmm.
And Kiefer could have made it a lot better.
Yeah.
Could have joked about it, but instead he bitched all night long.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, in between every song, he was cursing at the other guys in the band, and you know, it's obvious that's why there's not an original lineup anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I think that's the most unprofessional, wrong prefix there. Unprofessional thing you could ever do is just bitch about it. Like,
right.
You're on stage doing.
Or throw the
there to
hissy fit.
Yeah, just throw a tantrum for something stupid. Even if you are not yelling at somebody, you're throwing a tantrum, a self tantrum.
right.
That's just
I
ridiculous.
love the Les Claypool approach to it.
Yes.
What?
The best video ever is when Les Claypool gets a beer bottle thrown at him on stage, and it hits his bass, and he stops the song, finds the guy in the crowd, he's like, "Hey, I don't throw shit at you while you're trying to flip the burgers at McDonald's. Let's play another song."
Oh, now I can go for McDonald's.
Yeah, you are.
No, we had it before we got here. Well, it's not worth it.
Burger King.
Big Buffalo Ranch with chicken.
Guys, next song I want to play, Perfect Storm. What can you tell us about it?
That was probably the second or third song Eric had wrote when he came into the band. We had the music previously, and he struggled for a little while with it. We didn't know if it was actually going to like make it to the record, or to the EP rather. And one day he just kind of came in with these lyrics about how many things in your life just kind of line up, and it's just bad thing after bad thing after bad thing, and it almost just seems like a perfect storm of just shit going wrong. And I think we all related and connected with it, and you know, the song came out as is now.
All right, gang, check it out. Behind the Grave with the Perfect Storm. This is the Keep It Metal Show. We'll be right back.
Always fighting for control.
right, gang, we're back with Mr. Ken Jones.
And I'm here again.
Behind the Gray.
Yay.
Keeping it now.
Woo! Go
Ken, take a second and plug yourself.
Ken Jones Imagery and Promotions. Anybody needs video work or photography to
He's
promote their
phenomenal.
bands.
He's awesome. Call him.
Yeah, give me a call. You can find me on Facebook, Ken Jones Imagery. I'm also on Reverb Nation, Ken Jones Imagery and Promotions now. So, yeah, you can check me out. I'm also managing the Rosella Project. There's a lot of big things going on with the Rosella Project. They're playing Niagara this weekend. They'll be at the V-Spot on the 25th with Sucker and The Mess. That'll be a big Halloween show, too, and the winner of the costume contest will get 2 tickets to the upcoming Queensryche, real Queensryche show, not Tate's Reich. So, come on out, and it is, right? It's not Tate's Reich. Yeah, it's Queensryche. So,
Right.
come out, and when, you know...
That's down at the casino?
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, come on out to the V-Spot for that show, and have your minds blown by some incredible musicianship.
Awesome. Well, would you say your sound has evolved since you formed the band, man?
Oh, absolutely. And like the history of the band, we've probably had 20, 30 songs, and those were completed songs we played out with vocals and everything. And as we grew and changed, especially when we got Eric, when we got our singer, we knew the direction was going to change, so we started junking a lot of material left and right just to, I don't know, step our game up. And know, like, technically the album we are working on recording has been a year and a half in the writing process alone, and we haven't hit the studio yet. So we've changed and evolved a lot.
And you're starting from scratch on those tracks? You're not, like, reworking some of the previous stuff and letting Eric
Some of the
just...
old stuff is going to get, for the 3 songs from the EP are going to get probably reworked and retooled. The EP was recorded by Cliff Evans, mixed and mastered by Cliff Evans at the Rec Room Studio, but it was basically produced by us. You know, it was what we wanted to sound like. It was a lot of our ideas, a lot of us going in with the song very well rehearsed and giving the best performance we have. When we did Learn to Breathe, we went to Side B Studios in Dorrance, and we worked with Tom Godin, who engineered, mixed this song, but he also produced it. So we went in, you know, rehearsed and everything, but he had so many ideas and so many little changes and ideas and things that went into the song that really brought it to life.
So tasty.
It was. Yeah. And he had a very different approach to recording where, you know, for those who don't know, usually a drummer goes in just with like a scratch guitar, does the drums. Later we put the bass on top of it. Later we put the guitars on top, and so on and so forth. Tom put us all in the live room together.
Except Eric.
Except Eric. Eric, we stuck in a booth, and we basically played the song as a band, but as we would do takes, he's like, you know, it'd be really cool if you transition that second verse this way. You guys should really think about, you know, doing the solo that's kind of matching the melody of what's going on with what Eric's doing. You should really think about simplifying a snare pattern, you know, to give more room for the bass.
You should really steal Steve's bass line and change it
Yeah.
to guitar.
that wasn't in the live room.
He came in and he basically said this rhythm section should be really doing what the bass is doing because it's more, you know, lively. So I really just took Steve's bass line and I made it my own.
Yeah, working with Tom, it's a lot of like give and take. You know, you lay something down. He's like, I like that part. Change this part. You know, it's very.
And he's a multi-musician too. Like he is a drummer,
yeah,
but he can sing. He can play guitar. He can play bass. And we thought we were done with the recording. We did all the vocals, tracked everything. We were getting ready to mix, and he's like, "This song is not leaving the studio until someone sings the backup harmonies on the chorus." I'm like, none of us sing. He's like, "Kid, you can do it. Just try it." Like, so Dan and I had to play rock, paper, scissors as to who went into the booth first to attempt doing a harmony.
And he lost. He went first, I went second. And it's the most humbling feeling trying to sing something that is technically kind of not in your range sometimes. So you had to, I think we were in there each for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, easily.
Doing 4 lines.
And it gets a little frustrating for everyone else because obviously, like, you know, you're going in, you're playing guitar, you have 4 other members just sitting around waiting for you to be done so they can do something.
Yeah.
Or Mike,
Sounds
who's
good. Do it again.
yeah, that's the key thing. Yeah, sounds great. Give me one more. Okay. Yeah, that was good. Give me one more. I think I like the third one, but give me one more just to have it. And
it's just end up with 10 takes usually.
Yeah, he does it in a really sneaky way.
Yeah, you don't feel like you're getting...
You don't feel like you're getting worked, but you do.
You know it. You don't feel it.
2 takes, 1 punch.
But the way that came out and everything, that's what's got you now, like where you're set on producing the next album that way, right? And thus the Indiegogo campaign.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. The Indiegogo campaign is a crowdfunding site where you go to it and it helps us get the funds we need to record our first full-length album. But we're not just like asking for money. You donate money, but we give you perks and prizes and everything. So like if you want to donate just $1, we'll give you the digital download of Learning to Breathe. And that's the only place you can get it. You know, $3, we'll put your name and everything in a special section, a thank you booklet for the CD when it's pressed. You know, for $25, we'll give you a T-shirt of your choice, the CD before it comes out, signed poster, everything just mailed to your house as soon as the campaign's over. And, you know, I think some of the crowdfunding sites have gotten a little bit of a bad rep, but we have said 100 times, if we don't meet our goal, we're still going to make the record, and these people are still going to get their prizes.
Right.
You know, like, we're under the wire for what we want to get for our goal, but every little bit helps. You know, making records is very, very expensive.
Indiegogo does still give you, like, if you don't make your goal, you still do get a chunk, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
we'll
not
get
like
a
some
chunk.
of them where it's all or nothing.
Yeah. You know, we're going to get money for it. It's going to get us started. It's going to get us on the road. But, you know, we're not screwing over our fans in any way, shape, or form, or anybody who contributes to it. We're going to
How cool is that to be a part of it? You know, if you're a fan of Behind the Grade and you've donated some money to help them make this album that already, from what we've heard, is amazing.
Right,
you know?
right.
Like, that's just that's got to be a great feeling.
There's definitely plenty more when it, you know, where it all came from. I mean, the Learning to Breathe being the first single was that essentially the first song as this lineup. This was Steve's first song in the band. Carol got to see this past weekend another brand new song that's never been played live before outside of Sunday. We got, what, 4 more songs that have never been played live before yet. I mean, yes, a lot of the songs that we played live are should be on this album. And, you know, we'll probably redo, like they said, some of the stuff from the EP. But, I mean, there's a good possibility that, you know, when we go in to track this, there's going to be songs on this album that we never even played out yet for anybody.
Mm-hmm. And we want to get the best possible record, you know, for all of our fans. And it's also something like this is our career, so we got to live with it. You know, we got to have it out there that, you know, this is going to be our legacy and something we're going to go on tour with. You know, we're going to take this album, we're going to shop it to labels, we're going to shop it to management, we're going to shop it to everybody, and we're going to hit the road running. You know.
I'm sorry. Yeah. And at the end of the day, we also, it's kind of for ourselves. You know, you want to be able to sit there, let's say in 10 years.
Say you did that. You're proud of it. Right. You don't want to look back and go, man, I really wish we put more into this, or I really wish we had more money to get this done. You know,
I already have an album like that.
Yeah, we've all made those records. Yeah. Now we're not making those records.
Kick ass.
Cool, guys. What advice would you have for bands just starting out? Will?
My big one that I tell everyone is be willing to sacrifice. You have to understand, dude, if this is a career that you want to go in, you have to tell everybody. You know, you have to sit down with your bandmates and say, like, what do you want from this band? Do you want to just go out and play weekends? Do you just want to go out and play bars? You know, is this something we want to get on the road and do? Be willing to sacrifice. Like I said before, like, I never had an anniversary or a New Year's for 3 years of my life. You know, I missed family reunions. I've gone to funerals for people I've loved and then gone back out on tour. I've missed tons of things. I've sacrificed tens of thousands of dollars to, you know, have equipment and record records and all that shit. And I have an analogy that I say is getting to your goal is climbing a mountain. And at the top of the mountain is your goal and what you want to be as a career musician. And the people who sit at the bottom go, man, it's too high or it's too cold or it's too hard. Just stay at the bottom. Just stay there and don't waste your time. Because on that way up and on that trek to that top of that mountain, people are going to die. People are just going to give up and quit. And I'm going. I'm getting to where I want to be. And it's just a matter of who's to my right or to my left. You know, I'm going to get to where I want to be in my life. And for anyone just starting out, be willing to miss a lot, sacrifice a lot, but you're going to get to where you want to go.
Cool. Daniel.
If you don't love it, don't do it.
Yeah.
If you're playing guitar and you're like, I like this, I like what, if you're going out in bars and you're playing in a cover band, you're like, well, I like the girls, it's not for you.
Mm-hmm.
If it's for the girls, if it's for, those are perks, whatever, making some money is a perk, but if you don't love it, don't do it. Like, at this point, I've set my life up to do this. I live at my dad's, I came back from North Carolina and I said, this is what I'm doing. We're going to go on tour, I'm going on tour. That's what you have to do. You have to set yourself up to do it.
Cool. Steve.
And career-wise, though, you guys are like all on board with, hey,
let's go.
6-month tour.
Yeah.
Tell your jobs, and I hope your bosses aren't listening, but
it doesn't matter if they're listening or not.
Right.
We've all agreed.
When the phone call comes and the day comes where we're going to do this, usually it takes about 2 months to book a tour,
right,
to get ready for it, sign all your contracts and all that nonsense that goes along with it. In that 2 months, when we say we're going to do this, if anyone jumps ship, the band's still going on tour.
We'll find a new guitar player. We'll find a
new drummer, new bass player, even hell, if we got to find a new singer, it doesn't matter. This is what we want to do.
Right.
And the fact that we have this, 5 guys together, that option's not going to happen because everyone wants this. Everyone has sacrificed so much to get to where we want to go.
Cool. Steve.
Well, if it starts to feel like a job, you're probably doing something right. If you're losing the fun in it, then it's not for you. If you start to fall out of it, maybe you should switch genres. Find what is you. Make sure that you find a group of gentlemen or women that want the same goal as you. If they can reach that, if you all have that same mentality, you should have no problem, like Will said, climbing that mountain. You just all have to be able to work together and just fight for your goal.
Mm-hmm.
Make those sacrifices. Just do your thing.
Cool.
If you're meant to do it, you will do it.
Cool. Mike?
I'd say, first off, don't get discouraged. I mean, I've probably been in more bands than all of these guys combined, including Eric. Don't be discouraged if something, doesn't work out for you. Just keep doing your thing. Push forward. Like I said, I've been in so many bands. I've filled in for so many bands. I just got really lucky, when stuff happened with Will, I got in touch with him. I was in a band with him in the past, and the lineup that we have now is solid. If you get discouraged easily, or, you come into this for the wrong reason, you'll find out fast. There's people like us who are willing to give up anything and everything. I don't care if I don't have a job,
Mm-hmm.
They're all leaving, girlfriends and fiancés behind.
Kids,
so be it, But if you're not willing to at least take a step in that direction of, listen, I can get a phone call tomorrow asking me to go do this. If something happens where Learning to Breathe gets out to the right person and they're like, listen, we want you to come tomorrow and start tracking this album, right now. You have to go right now. There's not, well, maybe next, no. Because if you say maybe next week, they're going to say, okay, never mind.
There's 10 more bands waiting to take your spot.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you're going to have to do everything and anything you can. I mean, there's not a whole lot of people out there that, okay, they might practice once a week, or, maybe twice a week, or once every other week. There's a reason we practice 3, sometimes 4 times a week. If there's not something new to work on, we are perfecting every little thing to try to make everything the best for anybody who comes to see us. Whether it's, just tightening up a little part with, guitar harmonies, or coming up with little better parts here and there. It could be the tiniest little thing, and it's going to be difficult. If you're easily discouraged, I don't advise attempting music, because it's
a very hard industry.
Yeah. You could be the best whatever musician, guitarist, bassist, drummer, singer, backup singer, it does not matter. Because you can be the best person at what you do, and you don't have the right people around you, or the right business sense, or whatever, or the right drive, it's not going to do you a damn bit of good.
Right. It's never been about who's the best, actually. I mean, how many great instrumentalists don't make it, and then you see, bands that really,
absolutely,
that are making, Gigunda money.
Not putting.
Nickelback.
I love Nickelback.
Really?
I'm gonna get hell for it.
I think the band is good. I can't stand him.
Well, I used to look like him.
The industry has changed so much too, and I think like having common sense and business sense is huge.
Yeah.
Like having the ability to look at this as a business and how to fund yourself and create a revenue stream is very, very huge now, because I think a lot of people get stuck in, we're going to get signed, we're going to get this record contract, we're going to get a $500 million signing bonus. Be like, yeah, but that signing bonus needs to be paid back.
Yeah.
It's a loan.
Right.
The record company is a bank. And if you don't make that money back after your record comes out, you still owe the money.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
A lot
know?
of people don't understand that.
We had there's actually a guy from here, Derek DeSantis, who went to Florida to play in a band called Twisted Method. They got signed in 2000 for Ozfest.
They played on 2003, so I don't know when they got signed. They could.
2003, and they had a platinum record. And they were a huge band. They were the best-selling band in the history of Ozfest on the second stage, and they were huge and taken off. Their guitar player died before they got to make a second record. The band decided they wanted to disband and make another project. The band still owed the advance that their dead guitar player had to the label.
Right.
Doesn't matter if the guy's dead, because now that debt accumulates between the other three members.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's financially crippling.
Pete Steele,
Mhm.
Type O Negative, 3 platinum albums, died penniless.
Yeah.
Couldn't go to the doctors. That's why,
Yep.
because he had no insurance, no money.
Another thing I remember Will saying was, don't buy things you don't need yet. You know, don't grow quicker than you are.
It's almost like living within your means.
Yeah. You know, a lot of bands go out and buy scrims, or they buy these big things for a better show, but if you're not bringing in the people, no one's going to see it anyway. You know, you have to...
And playing the places to be able to play it, too.
Yeah.
A 7-piece DW kit with about 45 cymbals.
Yeah. You don't need huge things for...
Yeah, as you grow and you get to that level, buy the things you need. You know, we were a little spoiled because our previous band was a touring band, so like everything was in road cases, everything was in a trailer. It became habit to have it, but essentially when we started this band, we were starting over. So it's like you got to scale down, you have to understand the audience that you're playing with, the people that you're playing with, and you gotta make it work. If you're not selling out your corner bar, you're not going to sell out the Sherman Theater, buddy. I don't care how nice of a stage setup you got.
Yeah.
And you just dropped $1,000 on it when you could have dropped $1,000 into promotion to get our 200 people to your show and let people know that you exist.
And another, just what you saying that, selling out the show. I remember when I first started playing guitar, I was like, oh, I'm never going to be a sellout. There's a difference between being a sellout and being a paid musician.
Yeah.
I just want a lot of young people to notice that difference, because as I got older, it's like, okay, it's not selling out, it's buying in.
Yeah.
It's part of the deal.
Well, it's having a job.
You got to be able to eat to produce more music.
Well, then like going back to Metallica, like when they started making videos, or they were already at the top of their game.
They already probably created one of the best
end of
metal records in the history of music, and you can't tell them that they were a sellout.
No, I mean, they did it, been there, got the t-shirt, so why not? Why not
enjoy it?
You know what? And I think it was James, one of the guys, said something. They're like, we're having fun at one point, and that's all that matters. You know, who cares? Like, they want to put out good records, and they're trying their butts off. But when people come out and, I understand certain albums weren't that good, or the snare sound wasn't that good in some albums, but they still did it. They're still doing it. They're still selling millions of records. People are liking it. That's like people who hated Creed. They sold millions of records. Everybody was buying it.
You don't sell 40 million records without people, every person buying a copy.
Everybody that hates Nickelback, they sell.
Yeah.
I've seen them play live twice, and it's packed every freaking time.
Fucking baby metal. Baby Metal. You guys
Yeah.
oh my god. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, I guess they got started. There was like 3 girls that were too old to be in Japanese pop.
Yeah.
So they just put them in a metal band, and I'm like, I don't. It's.
Are you kidding me? And they're huge, multi-platinum.
I think a lot of things too that people aren't realizing, that I really hope a lot of people who are listening understand, is the industry has changed so drastically. It's not what you think. People, please listen to what I'm saying. It's not what you think. You see all these bands that were signed pre-2010. This is an industry term called old money. They've made their money. They can self-fund. They're still living off of publishing, distribution. That old record is still selling, still making them money. Even though they're 5 albums deep, second record's still making them money. There's a new thing called new money. There's no new money coming into music. Name a band after 2010 that has gone platinum in over a year. A rock band. Hasn't happened. Shinedown got a Grammy Award-winning record. Sound of Madness did not go platinum when they were a Grammy Award-winning band. That album should have been platinum and a half by the time they were out. They are not. They got signed in the wrong generation, the wrong setup, and the industry and all these money-making people. It's like selling out in the money machine. The money machine looked at the industry and went, "The internet happened. Now we have to move on." And the money machine went, "Now we take money from concert tickets." Now that's why you're paying $75, $80 to go to a concert, because the labels are taking money from them, and you're paying $8 for a CD when 5 years ago you were paying $16 for the same damn CD, because the labels aren't making money from CDs. They're making money from concert tickets. And when they drain that revenue, they're going to go to something else. T-shirts, merchandise. It's called a 360 deal. Labels get signed.
Yeah, we learned about this at the conference.
The
they talked about that.
The 360 deal is a label takes half of everything. They take half of your T-shirts. They take half of your ticket sales. They take half of your record sales. They take half of distribution, publishing, everything. The industry is not the same, and it's extraordinarily difficult now, because we can put out a song that we feel is the best possible song and everyone loves it, but I got 30 other bands coming out with the exact same song, and have way more money than I do to try and push it out there and get this, exposure and distribution going. It's a different monster. It's not the same.
Well, let me tell you about something though, and I wasn't even going to bring this up because it seems self-promoting, but Ion is affiliated with a new label called Star One, and these people. Yes, it seems like a startup, but it's really not. All these people have been in the industry forever, and they're still artists. And they have your goals and dreams, like, that's the forefront. So it's not a 360 deal where it is, it's like just a flat fee now. They take care of whatever you ask them to, and that's what your fee is based on, right? And then you blow up, right? Next year, your fee's the same. It's not like... okay, we're going to start raping these guys.
Right.
And it's because this is a label made by artists that have been there, done that, seen it happen, and want to get it back to how it should be. And, there's been criticisms of it. Oh, well, they're charging you. Well, every label charged you. That
pay
upfront money was bullshit. Like you said, you owed it.
It's a loan.
It's a bow on top of a box of shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this at least what you're telling them. This is what I want you to do for my money.
Yeah.
Can you do it?
It's up front.
It's a lot. Labels looked at bands, and there is an artist development department where you looked at a band and said, I can invest $1 million into this band who plays in a garage in front of 300 people, and I can make $10 million in a year.
Right.
Because I can show them how to dress. I can show them how to do a radio interview. I can push their song out to radios that I'm affiliated with. I can put their CD in every store across the country. I can do all of this and only invest this amount of money and get all this extra money back. Now bands look at it and the labels are downsizing because they don't want to lose money.
Right.
So there's no artist development. You already have to be an established artist. You already have to have a package together. You have to have your live show together. You have to have your equipment together. You have to have your touring priorities together. You have to have all of this together before you're even considered.
Yeah.
And again, there's 30, 40 other people that are being considered along with you that, next day there could be another 300.
Yeah.
And then you got to prove that you're going to stay together.
Yeah, a lot of like demo. Like you're not getting. It's not the behind the music stories where you hear, "Oh, we went to the club and next week we signed." Doesn't happen. Record label deals take years sometimes to lock into place because they want to make sure we're going to invest a 6-7 figure deal into you to make a record, buy a producer, buy touring, buy all this stuff. We want to make sure your investment's going to stay together.
Right.
Because the singer thinks he's going to jump off, or singer has a problem, or drummer has a problem, or whatever the fuck it is. They're not going to invest in you.
Right.
It's
and that's I always talk about the internet, and it's almost like a double-edged sword. Because with the
Definitely.
internet these days, you almost don't need that record deal.
Yeah.
That label. You almost don't need it. With so much social media and whatnot out there. But like as you said, at the same time, there's 1,000 other bands.
Yeah, doing the
exact same thing, man. And the competition nowadays, I think, is so much more fierce than it was back in the day because of social media.
I mean, you can make enough noise in a suburb area like Scranton. I mean, look, we've had a lot of signed bands out of this area.
Yeah.
You have Breaking Benjamin, you have Lifer, you have the Badleys, you have
The Drama Club.
The Drama Club was signed for a while. You have Fuel right down the road. Crowbot, who is blowing up right now, is from this area.
Crowbot is now
on tour with Chevelle.
Their main support for Chevelle's tour.
Wow.
Not like, the opening band and then there's a couple bands in Chevelle. It is Crowbot right before Chevelle. We saw them. Well, they've played in this area twice. The first time was at the New Penny, and they played for 10 people.
Yeah,
right.
We saw them in the New Penny for free. It was free to get into, and there was 10 people there, and there's 2 main speakers, and these guys just put on the most amazing show I've ever seen.
And the other show, they opened for Grace's Downfall at Clam Diggers. A little bit better crowd, but a couple months later, they're signed to Wind Up Records, and now their 2 major influences were Clutch and the Sword. As soon as they got signed, they got put on tour with both bands.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
As I said, we saw them at the factory, a month ago? 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Around that tattoo convention.
Right.
And they were phenomenal. Like, I've never seen them before, and I was blown away.
Cool. Guys, next song I want to play, The Crack Inside. What can you tell us about it?
First actual song that Eric wrote lyrics to.
He just threw them up, put them on the paper.
One of the first one of the first songs we wrote musically. But yeah, the first song Eric actually came in with lyrics, and
there's actually a girl it's about.
Yeah,
she's out there somewhere.
Yeah, there was a.
She almost came to a show.
So Eric almost had to do the opening scream in her face, which I thought was going to be awesome.
But we all have that girl.
You have a friend of the band that always goes up and gets right in his face
Wes.
to try to outlast him on that screen.
Yeah, Eric's got some vocal power. So
yes.
I wouldn't even. Well, to me personally, I don't call Wes a fan. Wes is like a brother to me. He's family. Yeah. I've known him for a long time. I don't. They'll probably agree, but I can't personally call Wes a fan because he's been family to me for a while, and he's done everything. He's been at almost every show. I actually had I went out for dinner the other night with some family friends, and a guy who saw Sunday Night. He's like, "There's one guy. He was in shorts." I'm like, "Well, was he baldy eyeglasses?" Yeah, he was like, he knew every word to every song, and you don't have these songs released. He's at every single show. He's traveled with us. He came to State College with us last time.
I think he's come to New Jersey when we played Dingbats.
Yeah. He did that. He's actually coming to Altoona.
Yeah.
He's driving out to Altoona for our Halloween show out there. He's at almost every single show, and it's, phenomenal that we have people like that.
Cool, guys. All right, check it out, gang. This is Behind the Grade with The Crack Inside. We'll be right back.
enough of all I had. Your throat to cut. This broken man, the truth of us. I don't belong. I've lived your lives all alone. And you scream that you want it. I bleed it. You got it. I stop what you started. Shut up, bitch. I got it. I see the ending. Nothing for you. Approaching faster than I knew. Faster and faster. The life worth taking. I won't take you. You call sick. There's a crack in you. I've given you all I have. The crack inside is all I am. The truth of trust. The hope is gone. You live my life far too long. And you scream that you want it. I bleed it. You got it. I stop what you started. Shut up, bitch. I got it. I see the ending. Nothing for you. Approaching faster than I knew. Faster and faster. The life worth taking. I won't take you. You call sick. There's a crack in you.
All right, gang. That was the Crack Inside from Behind the Grave. We got Mr. Ken Jones co-hosting tonight, Ken.
Hey, what's up, Billy? Another great show with the Metal Band of the Year, Behind the Grey. I mean, you've just been loading the show up lately, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Awesome. Again, guys, congratulations. That's unbelievable.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're much appreciated.
Thank you for having us. Really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, thank you for being here. Jeez.
Anytime.
Yeah.
If you want,
all the listeners,
if you want us back next week, we'll come every week. I don't know.
Do an acoustic in studio jam.
Yeah, we can do that.
Once our singer,
Yeah.
for those that don't know, our singer is extraordinarily sick right now at home, so he was unable to make it. But maybe we'll do a makeup one where we come and play an acoustic tune for you guys.
That'd be cool.
Or seven,
or whatever.
We'll play Nickelback.
I'm just putting songs out there for you guys, so I don't have to actually do anything.
Got a bongo set we'll let you borrow.
Oh, bongos.
We tried that; it didn't work.
You need
We just gave the djembe to John Carpenetti from Russello's band.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the Russello project. Because he had a smaller one, and we had this huge djembe, and we weren't really doing anything with it. So we're like, here, man, take it. You know,
those things are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
Low.
I miss it. I used it more than you.
Guys, upcoming shows. What do you got going on?
Next Friday, October 24th, we are going to be in Altoona at a place that used to be called Aldo's Place or Aldo's Lounge. We'll be playing with Hate Grenade and Divot. And
That's it.
And that's it.
Yeah,
Hate Grenade. That's a good name.
They are actually
They're phenomenal.
Phenomenal band. They actually do a Korn medley.
Yeah.
Like
with the bagpipes and everything.
Legitimately
Really?
comes out and does the entire bagpipe spiel, and they go through about 5 or 6 different songs. I saw it. Couldn't even tell you, about 3 months ago, maybe. And it was phenomenal. And then
Divot is actually a really, really great band. I think they're from like the upstate New York area, maybe. I saw them at the Haunt in upstate New York, and they are awesome. They're very Chevelle, very Deftones, 3-piece bands, awesome. I just got their EP a couple weeks ago, and they're awesome.
Cool. What else you got going on?
The 31st, Halloween, we're going to be at the V-Spot in Scranton. We'll be opening up for Grace's Downfall and our brothers in Ashfall.
Wow.
And there's going to be costumes.
And there's going to be birthday celebrations.
And birthdays. It is Mikey, Baby Bear Bonowitz's. And
actually, it's Steve's birthday at midnight. My birthday's the next week, but I'll be in Albany for my birthday. So
Yeah, Steve will turn 16. Is that where you're at now?
yeah. And Mike's going to be 42.
That's how I like my women.
16?
42.
Just get there, just listen.
Our schedule is always going, so you can check out our Facebook, Reverb Nation, Twitter, YouTube accounts. We'll always have an updated schedule, so keep locked to that, and you'll get all the Behind the Gray needs.
Awesome. Guys, what is the ultimate goal for Behind the Gray?
To die as working musicians.
Exactly. I want to be able to put on my taxes that I'm a musician. My bill tax form.
To not have to work a 60-hour week or even a 40-hour week and then do that. To wake up every morning and know my only job for the day is to play music that I wrote.
Yep.
It doesn't matter where I'm at. I prefer for it to be with this group. You know, that would be prime, best case scenario. Love everybody in this band. But to wake up tomorrow and be in New York or, be in Minnesota, I don't care. As long as I get to wake up and play music to, whether it be somebody new or 100 people that I played to before. As long as I get to, even if it's for 20 minutes, give somebody something to distract themselves from the bullshit that they've dealt with in the day. That to me is all that matters. Being able to do what I love, and even if it's just a distraction for a little bit that puts a smile on one person's face, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah. So, okay, Gene and Paul call you from Kiss and say, we have problems with Eric Singer and we want to put somebody else in Peter Criss's makeup. Are you doing it?
Not a chance.
Come on!
Couldn't pay me enough.
I think the thing I'm tired of with this, being a musician, someone's like, oh, what do you do? I play guitar. I'm a musician. They look at you really kind of like in a down way, just being a local musician, or being, like a lot of people think a musician's the guy that's crashing on his dad's couch, which I am. But we
worked really hard at crashing on that couch.
I did. Yeah. I gave up everything else in my life, housewife, everything.
Yeah,
moved back. No, but I just want to, I want to be proud of what I'm doing. I'm proud now, but I don't want to ever have somebody look at me in that downward manner.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only problem, though. No matter how good or how big we get, and no matter what we do, you're always going to have somebody be like, "Oh, you play guitar?"
Yeah.
It's
I do. Sword. What do you do?
I'm
just being able to do what you love as your job is all that matters. If somebody wants to be a veterinarian and that's what they love to do and they want that as their job, more power to them. But I know this group of 5 people, all 4 here now, Eric at home, if our job was musician, drummer, bassist, guitarist, singer, whatever you want to call it, if we're making, well, I'm not going to say making money, if we make a living doing what we love,
winning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, we're lucky. I think we all have families and definitely girlfriends that love us for what we do. I know my dad, my mom, they enjoy every aspect of me being a musician. My girlfriend's the same way. She doesn't tell everybody that I work at Jack Williams. She tells I'm a musician, and that's the greatest feeling in the world.
Cool. Awesome, guys. Well, guys, I want to thank you all for hanging out with me tonight.
Thank you again for having us.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Mike.
Very much
And
appreciate
Ken,
it.
again, thank you, man, for co-hosting.
Thank you.
Always a
Anytime.
blast.
Anytime.
Carol, thank you. She was the silent majority over there. But thank you for hanging out tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Last song I want to play tonight, Learning to Breathe. What can you tell us about it?
First song written with this lineup.
It was the first practice. Steve was a member of the band. We wrote this song. We threw this one up.
And it's the first single from the full-length album that we're working on. You can get this song on our Indiegogo for just $1. And if everyone on our Facebook page buys it, we'll have enough money to fund 2 albums. So please, go buy it. It's $1.
And if everybody goes and checks out the unofficial video and it goes viral, I will donate a huge chunk of whatever I make in the partnership agreement to these guys to help make that album.
Ken Jones Imagery 2.
Yeah, that's it.
We will make a nice little contract for you to do the documentary of the making of the album.
There you go.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yes, that will save our ass. Well, you don't want me behind a camera anyways.
We don't want you in front of the camera either.
Maybe it's better that we don't, because I shouldn't be in front of a camera.
Call it behind the cam.
Behind the Greg.
It's okay, because I'll only be in like the drum aspect of it for the end.
You're doing all the falsetto vocals in it.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Guys, thanks again
Thank
for
you.
hanging out with me tonight.
Thank you, man.
Listeners, check it out. Behind the Grade, Learning to Breathe.
Taken by the way you scream the words to me. You came as I was losing my mind. It's hard to find a way when I'm choking on my own life, but you push me along to survive. Taken by the way I throw myself away, lost the pieces I need. It's hard to find a cure to this sickness so I don't die, but you push me to try. And I'm tired of losing sleep, cracked and broken heart. Show me how to breathe. Stop
right, gang, that was the new one, Learning to Breathe from Behind the Gray. Guys, once again, thank you for hanging out tonight.
Thank you.
Ken, thank you, man.
Anytime.
Ken
man.
Jones Imagery, check him out on Facebook. Check out Behind the Gray on Facebook, Reverb Nation, all the social networks.
Indiegogo.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Indiegogo, yes. Carol, thank you again for hanging out. Guys, I will see you next week. As always, stay safe, be well, keep it metal.